It's Wednesday, and every second Wednesday we have Stats Day. So every second Wednesday you get the Panic Index. Every second Wednesday you get the stats. And today I wanted to look at something I've talked about before, which is what I refer to as like a Cy Young winner. So Cy Young is where a guy gets more goals than assists, and it resembles a record in baseball of wins and losses, which is impressive. And right now, if they were handing out a Cy Young, it's tricky because Ovechkin would have 40 wins and 17 losses with 40 goals and 17 assists. 702 winning percentage, or 70% of his points are goals. But if you look down the list, it is actually interesting to see who gets a lot more goals than assists. And if you're in a pool, you're going to nod and go, yep, that's right. If you want goals, he's your guy. If you want overall points, maybe not. Matthews, 40 goals, 28 assists. So 58.8% of his points come from goals. Sebastian Aho, 31 goals, 21 assists, 59.6% for him. Evgeny Dadonov, 23 goals, 18 assists, 56.1%. And I had to have a dividing line, so I said, okay, it has to be 5 or more goals than assists in order for it to be on the board. Not just more goals than assists, because then that just gets crazy. Kubalik in Chicago, 22 goals, 11 assists, so 66.7% of his points are from goals. Anthony Duclair, 21 goals, 13 assists. He just hasn't been getting points lately. But 61.8% of the points he does have are goals. Parise in Minnesota, 21 goals, 15 assists. So he's at 58.3% of his points are goals. Blake Coleman in New Jersey, 21 goals, 10 assists, 67.7%. So if we were doing Cy Young Award voting, he'd be right up there with Ovechkin. Pajot, although if he had 40 wins in Major League Baseball season, that's something's gone very, very wrong for a pitcher to get 40 wins. But yeah, Pajot, 21 goals, 13 assists for 61.8% of his points being goals. Garland, 19 goals, 4 assists, 57.6%. And the player who inspired me to do this list, Nola Cherry, who after last night now has 19 goals and 5 assists. He got 2 of them last night. 79.2% of his points are goals. So again, if you're in a pool that rewards goals more than anything else, goals are worth more than just regular points. He's excellent. If you're rewarding just points, he doesn't give you anywhere near as much as you think he might. Especially considering he had back-to-back hat tricks as well in there. So his overall numbers are excellent, much like James Neal's, but they're skewed a little bit towards a few games. Neal, 19 goals, 10 assists, so 65.5% of his points come from goals. Bjorkstrand in Columbus, 18 goals, 12 assists, 60%. Henrique, 60% as well with 18 goals, 12 assists. And Connolly in Florida, out of Washington, 18 goals, 13 assists, 58.1% of his points come from goals. So, if we were handing out a Cy Young today, it probably goes to a Cherry, although Ovechkin with 40 goals, 17 assists, he would definitely get the voting in baseball. Like I said, either something's gone very wrong or your pitcher has to be made of steroids in order to get 40 wins in a season. It's just, you'd have to bring him in every relief situation where it's tied after 5. Like, all right, every single relief situation where it's tied after 5, you're in. Leaving a pitcher to say, why do you hate me? So there you go. Cy Young, I just thought that was something interesting to look at for today, rather than just your regular standings, stats, and who's leaders. We will look at the leaders now. Rocket Richard, Ovechkin, and Matthews both have 40 goals. So they are the most likely to win this. Pastrnak has fallen off, 38 goals. Draisaitl, 32. McKinnon, 32. Draisaitl's notable because with McDavid out, Draisaitl may very well be scoring a bunch more goals during that period in time. He's 8 goals off the NHL lead. It's unlikely he catches it, but who knows? Art Ross, that belongs to Draisaitl. 89 points for him now. McDavid, 81. McKinnon and Pastrnak, 78. And for people who've wanted to say, well, Draisaitl's just, if he played anywhere else, he wouldn't get points like this. This has to drive people nuts that he's actually outscoring McDavid, thus undermining the entire argument altogether. Because that's not how it works when you're being propped up by another player. You don't outscore them. So penalty minutes leaders in the NHL, Evander Kane has that kind of wrapped up with 106. Kadri's number 2, of course, he's injured indefinitely, week to week. 97 for him. Goodbranson with 95 in Anaheim. He can get a little punchy. He could have a couple of fights. He could still make a run at this overall title for penalty minutes. But what an amazing world we live in, where you might get 3 or 4 guys with 100 penalty minutes in the entire National Hockey League. What an absolutely amazing difference that is from when I started watching the game. Ice time leaders, NHL wide. Thomas Chabot in Ottawa is your leader at 26 minutes and 5 seconds. Roman Josi, 26 minutes and 2 seconds. Doughty, 25 minutes, 57 seconds for him on average per game. Letang, 25 minutes, 53 seconds. Clefbaum, 25 minutes, 31 seconds. And Seth Jones, who of course is injured, 25 minutes, 17 seconds on average. Chabot plays a ton. Anytime you watch an Ottawa game, he will play roughly half of it. Those numbers absolutely... Sometimes he plays a lot more than that. If they play into overtime, basically he has the whole overtime on the ice. It's kind of crazy, but it'll reward him later. I really believe that he's learning a lot this year. Rookies. People always ask about rookies, so let's go ahead and take a look at rookies and where we're at right now. Points. Quinn Hughes is your leader in points among rookies. 8 goals, 36 assists, 44 points. Cale Makar, 12 goals, 30 assists, 42 points, which brings about that interesting debate, Makar or Hughes. Well, early in the season, I was sure it was Makar's, but now I'm not as sure. I do think Quinn Hughes has earned at least equal billing with Makar, and we'll see how things go down the stretch. Olofsson, 16 goals, 19 assists, 35 points. He hasn't played in quite a while, so he hasn't had a chance to take over. If not for injury, he would have been the number 1 scorer among the rookies, but you can only go with what guys play. Nick Suzuki is starting to generate some interest in Montreal in terms of his rookie season. 11 goals, 24 assists, 35 points. But he's had an excellent rookie season even when he wasn't scoring, so now the points are coming. So excellent year for him, and good news for Montreal fans for the future. Goals among rookies. Kubalik leads there with 22. He has 33 points, of course, so he's just off the top 4 when it comes to scoring. Gurianov, 16 in Dallas. I don't know where that came from either, but it's been a refreshing change of events. Gurianov exceeding expectations. Olofsson also has 16, and then Marty Necas in Carolina has 14. Ice time leaders among rookies. Quinn Hughes, 21 minutes and 38 seconds. Ethan Bear, 21 minutes, 28 seconds in Edmonton. Makar, 20 minutes and 37 seconds. So his ice time seems to be dropping, or Quinn Hughes is going up. Marino, 20 minutes and 19 seconds. And, of course, he's out for at least a few weeks for Pittsburgh. So, yeah, ice time, that belongs to Quinn Hughes. And that's an argument in favor of him winning the Calder Trophy. Most points, most ice time. He's a defenseman. There's a lot of things going for him. If a defenseman leads the rookies in scoring, he has an excellent chance of winning it, I would think. I don't know the actual numbers on that. That's a video for another time. Rookie goaltenders. So if you want a goaltender to slide into this conversation, Mackenzie Blackwood does. He's 17, 12, and 7 with a .910 save percentage. He'll get some votes. As would Samsonov if he played more. He's 16, 4, and 1 now with a .917 save percentage. That save percentage took a hit in their last game that he played against Philadelphia, where it wasn't great. So, yeah, Samsonov, or no, that was against, no, it wasn't against them. It was against the Islanders. It's been a couple of bad games for Washington, so forgive me if I get them crossed up. Merzlikins, 12, 7, and 5 record with a .930 save percentage. And again, people ask, could he win Rookie of the Year? Yes, but he has to play, I would think, at least 35 to 40 games to get into that conversation. And even then, making that argument of him above Hughes could be difficult, or him above Makar could be difficult, because they have played more games, and in Hughes' case, he'll play virtually every game for Vancouver. Notice I'm saying virtually, I don't want to jinx it. Demko in Vancouver has a record of 10, 5, and 2 with a .909 save percentage. He is still a rookie. Not going to win Rookie of the Year, but notable. And also notable, Shesterkin, who's only showed up in 7 games for the Rangers so far, but he's 6-1, .941 save percentage. And I agree with what I was reading on Twitter last night, where somebody said, am I the only one thinking that if the Rangers had played Shesterkin all year, they'd be in a playoff spot? The answer to that is no. The way he's playing, if he'd been in their goal all year, they're probably in a playoff spot. Absolutely. Overall save percentage, which rules out Shesterkin because he hasn't played enough, because You've got a minimum of 20 plus games. Merzlikins does lead there with a 930 save percentage league-wide. So again, if he plays enough from here to the end of the season, yes, he can win Rookie of the Year. Rask, Kemper, Jari all have save percentages of 929. Hudobin, 928. And noteworthy, Vasilevsky, I've got a little star here because there's quite a bit in between him and the leader. But the 920 save percentage, I do still think Vasilevsky right now would win Vezina. And we can have the debate about whether or not save percentage should matter that much. I think save percentage gets Rask into the conversation for goaltender of the year. If Kemper comes back and maintains that 929, he will get some votes as well. But there you go. Stats for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And maybe the next time we do the stats video, we'll also include award predictions, because I've done that before and it's kind of fun, and maybe it's time I try that again. Thank you guys so much for everything. I will talk to you again soon.